Why you wouldn't survive a day in the Wild West. A boring history for a sleep story. Let's begin. It was the year 1873 in a place that probably had a name like Dustpan, Tumbleweed Hollow, or Burnt Cactus Junction. The exact name doesn't matter. The only thing that mattered was the heat. The sun hung in the sky like a judgmental lantern, and the air tasted like warm pennies and regret. Now let's pretend you, a gentle, modern soul, woke up in the Wild West. Not in a hotel, not in an Airbnb stocked with bath salts and complimentary Wi-Fi, but in a lopsided wooden shack with a bed made of hay and something suspiciously rodent-shaped rustling under it. You're already off to a bad start. Hour 1. Breakfast and hygiene, or lack thereof. You reach for your phone. There's no phone. You remember this is 1873. Instead, there's a tin basin filled with tepid water that's been used 3 times already. Once by a man named Clancy, once by his mule, and once to soak a pair of extremely unfortunate socks. You attempt to wash your face and wonder why it now smells like boiled leather and corn whiskey. You look for a toothbrush. What you find is a twig and a canister of something called soot chalk. It's unclear if you're meant to brush with it or cast a hex. Either way, your mouth feels worse afterward. For breakfast, there is hardtack, which is essentially a cracker forged in a furnace of indifference. You break a molar trying to eat it. There's also coffee that has the consistency of motor oil and tastes like it was strained through a bandana. You miss almond milk. You miss cereal. You miss basic food safety laws. Hour 2. Wardrobe woes. You dress in what they've left for you. Long wool trousers, suspenders, a scratchy shirt, and boots that seem designed for foot punishment. The hat is too big. The gun belt is too small. You consider going outside in just your underthings, but remember that everyone here carries a gun and may not understand irony. As you step out onto the dusty street, the sun punches you in the eyes like an overzealous landlord. There is no sunscreen. There is no deodorant. There is no mercy. You take 5 steps and begin to sweat. By step 7, your boots have made the backs of your heels look like a horror show. By step 10, you consider giving up and becoming a professional shade dweller. Hour 3. Social etiquette. You try to say good morning to a stranger. He squints at you like you just insulted his horse's mother. In the Wild West, looking at someone the wrong way could lead to a duel. Smiling too broadly? Suspicious. Asking about someone's job? Invasive. Admitting you don't own a horse? Social suicide. You attempt to start a conversation in the saloon. The moment you ask for a sparkling water with lemon, the piano stops playing. Glasses clink down. A man with a mustache that could smother a cat asks if you're one of those European poets. You consider nodding, but instead you say, "No, I'm just visiting." Everyone stares. You slink away to a corner and sit on a bale of hay that may or may not contain a live chicken. Hour 4. The bathroom situation. It's time. You know what I mean. There's no indoor plumbing. There's a privy behind the saloon, essentially a small wooden box full of terror. It smells like every bad decision anyone has ever made. There's no toilet paper, just a stack of old newspaper and a pine cone. You scream quietly into the void. You vow to hold it in forever. Forever lasts about 8 minutes. You emerge, older, changed, humbled. Hour 5. The job market. You try to find work. You think maybe you could be a clerk, or a teacher, or a librarian. But those jobs are scarce, and everyone expects you to know how to shoot, brand cattle, or wrestle rattlesnakes. You are offered a job as a pig tickler, don't ask. You decline. You try your hand at panning for gold. After 4 hours bent over a riverbed, all you have is a sore back and a rock shaped like a loaf of bread. A grizzled man tells you he's been doing this for 15 years and once found a piece of gold the size of a raisin. You reconsider the pig job. Hour 6, high noon. High noon is a dramatic time. This is when gunfights typically happen. Two men face each other in the street. Music plays somewhere in the back of your mind, and dust swirls like theatrical fog. You are mistaken for someone named Fergus the Cheat. Before you can explain, a local gunslinger challenges you to a duel. You try to laugh it off. Surely you jest, you say. He does not. You're handed a revolver. You nearly drop it because it's heavy and smells like danger. Your opponent counts to 3. You throw your gun in the air, scream, and run behind a horse. The horse kicks you. You wake up 15 minutes later with a black eye and a new nickname, Sissy Biscuit. Hour 7. Attempt at culture. You try to find culture. The local theater is showing a play called Tragedy of the Lonesome Prospector, performed by a man who may also be the town dentist. It lasts 4 hours. There are 5 characters and 1 actor. You don't understand any of it, but you clap politely. You ask about libraries. There's 1 book, a handbook on proper saddle maintenance. You ask about music. Someone hands you a jug and tells you to blow into it like you mean it. You try to hum a song from your time. Someone accuses you of casting spells. You stop humming. Hour 8. Dinner. Dinner is beans. Just beans. And jerky that tastes like old boots. You ask for a salad. Everyone laughs. A man offers you a pickled egg that's been sitting on the bar since 1868. You say no. You dream of pizza. You dream of kale. You dream of running water and utensils that aren't also used to shoe horses. You nibble a bean and cry softly into your hat. Hour 9. Nightfall. The sun sets, finally. But with night comes new terrors. Coyotes howl. Mosquitoes descend like a biblical plague. Your blanket is made of horsehair. The pillow is a bag of cornmeal. You try to sleep, but the walls are thin, and the neighboring shack is hosting a fiddle contest. The winner is a goat. At some point, something licks your hand. You pray it's a dog. You finally fall asleep to the sound of someone arguing with a chicken. Final tally. Let's review. You haven't bathed. You've been kicked by a horse. You're wanted in 3 counties under the name Fergus. Your digestive system is rebelling. You've eaten more beans than is medically advisable. You're covered in dust, despair, and at least 1 flea. You are not cut out for the Wild West. And that's okay, because neither were most people. They endured it, sure, but they didn't thrive. The West wasn't about gunfights and glory. It was about survival, about grit, boredom, pain, and long stretches of silence broken only by the clink of beans in a tin plate. So the next time you romanticize the Wild West, remember the pine cones, remember the jug band, remember the kick, and be very, very glad you live in a world with air conditioning. The end.